The following is a production of Fenix Media. The views expressed do not necessarily represent those of the company or its advertisers and may contain language that's unsuitable for younger listeners. Welcome, everybody, to You Bet Your Ass, a Patreon exclusive podcast where we cover the week's biggest sports bets. Of course, we are broadcasting live from the National Automobile Museum here in downtown Reno. If you want tickets or information for the Auto Museum, just head over to automuseum.org. Now, I'm Kristian Fenix. Along with me is the John Madden to my Al Michaels, the G-Man. How you doing, G-Man?
Hey, we're gonna play some football. So it's wham, bam, bam. When John Madden, man.
So sad. Yeah.
So sad.
We all learned, was it 2 nights ago, that John Madden had passed at the age of 85. Of course, a fantastic coach. He was a player. And then for me, an inspiration in broadcasting because, his analysis of the game was second to none.
Yeah. 85, that's a good journey. And, he lived an incredible life. Of course, the head coach of the Raiders, the Super Bowl 9 against the Vikings. I think that may have been like seems like the second Super Bowl I may have watched, because I was a little kid still, back then, as hard as that is to believe.
I didn't watch it. Sorry.
You weren't around.
A little young.
Yeah. So, but yeah, John, and then after his coaching, of course, as you mentioned, go into the broadcast booth and just an innovator in that realm. And I think somebody surmised it very well where his delivery while we were watching a football game and his explanations, especially once they started being able to have the little drawing teleprompter. Yeah, not teleprompter. What are those called? We're just like scratch.
Exactly.
You can have things show up on just basically a squiggly line. You can say, hey, the receiver's going over here. He's going up the field, but man, they run into each other, and that's what creates a separation right here. And he was fantastic. And then, of course, then it transitioned into, Madden, EA Sports with Madden video games and everything on Thanksgiving, with the turducken and, so we're going to miss that guy. He's actually been away for a couple of years and it's understandable, getting up there in years and having some health issues, and he's been out of the limelight, but he will never be forgotten. That's for sure.
No. And in fact, ESPN put out a Madden documentary just a couple weeks ago. And I think they're getting ready to replay it here on New Year's Day, just in honor of John. So
yeah, it'll be filled with John Madden for the rest of the week and, possibly in the next week, but for sure through this week. And again, justifiably so, we're going to miss that guy.
Yeah. Big loss, but, just a titan of everything he did. So
yeah, big Bay Area ties. He actually, had some ties into where I went to school at CSM, College of San Mateo, City College of San Francisco. Some community colleges. He has a little taste of those things in the Bay Area before moving on.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Well, it's always a bummer to start on a low note, but hopefully we can bring everybody up on to a higher note. Because at this point in the show, we take a look at the previous week's breakdowns. Now, if you guys follow along, obviously we didn't record a show last week. I was having some technical issues, but we still released the information out there for you guys to follow. It was a weird week of football.
A little disjointed.
But you went 9-7. So continuing the winning streak, the overall win percentage is at 51.67%. And if you're doing the $2 tally, where you're placing $2 on every bet that we suggest throughout the entire season, you're only down $8.80.
Yeah, I was in a post-progressive win fog.
I'm sure.
I'm telling you, man. That was the largest amount of money that I've ever been paid out. So there was records that were set. The last 2 times that Progressive was paid out, I was actually one of the people in the group. Nobody else could say that. So and of course, afterwards, everybody finds out, you got some family and friends, they got their hands out a little bit. Hey, buy me dinner, and Christmas was much better than I had anticipated. And I,
sure.
Definitely played a good Santa Claus. There's a little bit left over, we had to be responsible and have some set aside for the trip, a little fixing the truck a little bit, but there was a definite little fog this last week, with everything going on, especially with the holiday too.
Mm-hmm.
We have Christmas that happened. We had, family in town, but hey, we got through at 9-7. That's still over 50%.
Exactly. And in the spirit of sporting, hopefully your records stay there for a little while.
Yeah.
That way you get to hang on to it and have a matter of pride for a while. And, before somebody else comes along. And
Yeah. I have to mention, that again, I guess, the pepper mill where we got this Progressive was so visibly shaken, that they're not, I was telling you, they're not doing it anymore for the rest of the year.
Right.
Yeah. They actually called me a wise guy.
Oh, no. In this town, when you're talking about casinos, bring up wise guys, that might be an issue.
That's all right. I'm taking it as a compliment.
So, still in a over 500 winning percentage for this season, which is exactly where we want to be. Obviously, it'd be nicer if it was a little bit better, but it's just been a weird season overall.
It has been, and it continues to be weird with all the COVID, things that are going on. I see the NFL's been adjusting, kind of like their protocol a little bit. They're softening their stance, which again makes sense, because these guys, some of these guys that are being affected, they've been vaccinated, they've been boosted, and they're, of course,
they've done everything they were supposed to.
Everything, and so, and not having any symptoms, all these different things. So I think they, instead of doing the 14-day thing or the 10-day thing, now it's down to 5.
Okay.
Something like that.
I
so it's a good sign.
That's
a good
fair.
sign. Yeah.
The other thing we like to do each and every show is remind everybody with a couple disclaimers. Of course, we give this information for entertainment purposes only. We want to remind everybody, don't bet more than you're willing to lose. So don't go out, don't mortgage the house, don't go to a loan shark and say, well, G-Man said to write it all on the Dolphins versus the Titans, and then, complain to us after that doesn't pay out.
I don't know if I'd ever say that. You better have it on audio. You have some empirical proof, but don't, you just have fun. Just like, again, if you say, hey, I have a couple $100, I want to go skiing this weekend. That's how much a lift pass, cost, or whatever, have something to eat. It's in your budget.
Right.
Yeah. And it's no different with this.
And then the other in play or disclaimer that we like to give is in play. So we give this information, researched up until we record this, which is midday Thursday, but without there being a Thursday night game anymore. And of course, Sunday games being 3 days away.
2 more weeks.
Circumstances can change. So, keep an eye on the in play. Know that you can always change or adjust bets, on the fly. So per quarter, per half, whatever it may be. But, that's the way to keep an eye on things, just based on the information we give as of Thursday.
It's so much fun. I love in play. I love it.
Well, you were telling me a story before, which, maybe we'll, in the Sports Betting for Dummies, sort of recap that story about the Golden State Warriors.
That sounds good.
But the other thing we like to do for those free watchers and viewers, we could do our kickoff pick, which is our freebie pick. Each week, give you guys a little taste. Hopefully, you'll subscribe at patreon.com/youbetyourass. And, subscriptions are as little as $3 a month. If you like the information we have to give, then, it's well worth it and doesn't cost you a whole chunk of change.
Yeah, good information.
Exactly. So this week's freebie pick is the Miami Dolphins at the Tennessee Titans, and you've got the Titans -3.5. Now, the Dolphins did look pretty good against the Saints, but of course, the Saints were racked by COVID protocols, injuries. They were down to their 4th quarterback, which was Ian Book, I think his name was.
Yeah.
And so,
poor guy.
Yeah.
He was in a tough spot.
But he made the best of it.
Yeah.
And, the Dolphins obviously came out victorious because of that, but they're playing a Tennessee Titans team that, still has Ryan Tannehill. They don't have Derrick Henry, but, you're giving them a little over a field goal with 3.5. How do you see that one playing out?
Yeah, that one, I've been keeping an eye on the Dolphins for, of course, their winning streak. Started out 1-7, so they've reeled off 7 in a row. But when you look at the schedule and the teams that they've played, there are no juggernauts. the Titans are going to definitely be the toughest team that they played in this 8-game jaunt. And I believe that there was actually only one team that the Dolphins have played in this 7-game win streak that actually has a winning record. And so it's just Titans they're just a better team, bottom line. And I think the Dolphins are going to it's going to be over, for them. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it makes a whole lot of sense. And we're at the end of the season now, and they're not necessarily in contention for their division. So they're just going to play to essentially try and be a spoiler, but with a little over a field goal, I'd say that is a pretty safe bet.
Yeah, and of course the Titans, they're sitting at 10-5, number 2 slot in the AFC. They're not going to want to, of course, drop down, at all, to as far as their position.
Mm-hmm.
And so, the Titans have played more teams this year that have a winning record than any other NFL team.
No kidding.
More of them, yeah. And they've only lost 2 games. They were like 6-2 against all the teams that are over 500. So,
and going most of the season without Derrick Henry too.
Yeah, and I love Vrabel. He's a solid coach. I love the culture, that they permeate there. And same thing, Brian Flores. He's doing a good job in Miami, but it's just I think the Dolphins are going to just be exposed for the team that they really are, and that's that they've had a soft schedule.
Right.
They've went through it, and now it's time to stop.
And they're relying on a couple inexperienced. I mean, basically Tua and Waddle are the big players, and they're first year players, and they may crack under the pressure.
Yeah, it's solid year 2 is having too. I think his completion percentage is almost 70% or something like that. He's pretty close to the high 60 percentile. And but against the Titans, they have a very, I wouldn't say top 5 defense, but a respectable defense.
Yeah.
And I think that the experience that Tannehill has, versus Tua, and people forget, where did Tannehill used to play for? Dolphins. So there's that playing your old team type of thing there. They're playing in Tennessee. They've got a great record in Tennessee, So I would suggest, I didn't have it, I think, on the spreadsheet, but 3.5. I would probably just go ahead and buy the hook. Get down to 3. Just in case. Exactly. Yeah, just in case the Titans, win by 3. You're going to get your money back and reinvest another day.
Makes a whole lot of sense. And that's how the freebie pick works, folks. Just take that, try it out. If you like what we have to say, subscribe at patreon.com/YouBetYourAss. And as I mentioned, we've got a $3 audio only podcast. This is $3 a month, $5 for the video and audio. And then we've got a $10 level that is the video audio, and then 10 bonus bets that you put out each week. And then I do a fantasy analysis, which made it all the way to the championship and sadly lost last week. So it was doing well, but it's
you made it to the game.
It plays off. Exactly.
You can't win it if you're not in it. Hey, one more thing on that Titans Dolphins game. If you do like parlaying, what I would do if I was going to put this on a parlay ticket, I would go ahead and don't do it on the parlay card, go to the window, and for the Titans game, just go ahead and go money line. You can just, and that's just win. Then they just win the game, and then you have them knock out that first leg on the parlay ticket.
It's a good way to do it.